Gentlemen, welcome back to the Stoic Golden Rule. Let me ask you this. Have you ever gone silent, hoping she'd notice your absence, only to realize she doesn't seem to care at all? Be honest. Have you ever tried this approach? Comment yes if you have, or no if you haven't. Now here's the harsh reality. Silence by itself is meaningless. You think she'll start missing you, but instead she moves on as if nothing happened. Why? Because silence without presence is just empty space. And that's where most men fail. But if used correctly, silence can be one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Not to manipulate her, but to regain control over yourself. So if you're tired of feeling powerless when she pulls away, stick around. Because today, we're not just talking about going silent, we're talking about how to make silence work in your favor without losing your dignity. So, why isn't your silence working? Why does she seem completely unaffected when you stop texting or calling? Here's the truth. Most men go silent for the wrong reasons. They think, if I stop reaching out, she'll realize how much she misses me. But what they don't realize is that silence alone doesn't create impact. Presence does. Think about it. If a man disappears from a woman's life, but she never truly felt his presence in the first place, then his absence means nothing. Silence without presence is just empty space. Now let's flip the script. Imagine a man who had a strong presence in a woman's life, his energy, his confidence, his ambition, the way he carried himself. When a man like that goes silent, the absence is felt. It creates a void, a lingering thought in her mind. The reason your silence has no effect? She subconsciously knows you're still emotionally tied to her. Even if you're not texting, if you're sitting there staring at your phone, waiting for her to notice, you're still energetically chasing her. And trust me, women can sense that. Real silence, the kind that shifts power, doesn't come from trying to get a reaction. It comes from a place of strength. It's not about waiting for her to text you. It's about moving forward so fast that whether she notices or not becomes irrelevant. Most men get this wrong because they use silence as a strategy, not a state of being. And that's why it fails. So now that you know why silence alone doesn't work, let's talk about when it actually starts to make an impact. When does silence actually work? Silence is only powerful when it's backed by genuine detachment. If you're using silence as a manipulation tactic, it will fail. But when your silence is a natural byproduct of your self-respect and personal growth, that's when it becomes undeniable. Women don't react to silence immediately. They process emotions in layers. In the beginning, she might not even notice. She might even feel relieved. But as time goes on, something shifts. Stage 1, indifference. At first, she assumes you'll reach out again. She's seen this pattern before. She believes she still has control. Stage 2, curiosity. After days or weeks, she realizes something is different. The absence isn't just a short-term reaction, it's a shift in energy. And that's when she starts questioning, why isn't he reaching out? Has he moved on? Stage 3, doubt and regret. As more time passes, her confidence in your availability starts to crack. If she saw you as someone who was always there, suddenly she isn't so sure anymore. And that uncertainty is powerful. But here's the key. None of this happens if you're secretly waiting for her to notice. If your silence is fueled by desperation, she'll sense it. The men who truly create impact aren't thinking, when will she text me? They're too busy leveling up. Their silence isn't about her. It's about them. And that shift in mindset? That's what makes the absence hit differently. The real question isn't, when will she start missing me? The real question is, will I even care when she does? And that brings us to the next crucial point. What you do during that silence matters more than the silence itself. Why you must focus on yourself. Most men get silence wrong because they make it all about her, waiting for her to text, checking her social media, analyzing every little sign. But here's the harsh truth. If your life stops when she leaves, she never really lost anything. And that's why she doesn't feel your absence. Because you never truly disappeared, you just went into waiting mode. No contact is not about her missing you. It's about you becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to be missed. Think about it. If you were truly focused on your goals, your fitness, your business, your purpose, would you even care whether or not she's thinking about you? Probably not. And ironically, that's exactly when she will start thinking about you. Not because of silence alone, but because of the energy shift that comes with it. Here's where most men go wrong. They assume that silence is enough. That if they just stop texting, she'll start wondering about them. But silence without progress is meaningless. If you're just sitting around doing nothing but waiting, that's not power. It's passive desperation. And women can feel that energy. They can tell when a man is pretending to be detached but is still emotionally trapped. Now let's flip the script. Imagine you use that silence to completely transform yourself. You hit the gym harder than ever. You dive into your work with laser focus. You start new hobbies, meet new people, build a lifestyle that is so fulfilling that whether she comes back or not, you win either way. That's real power. That's when silence isn't just absence. It becomes an undeniable statement of growth. And when she finally hears about you, sees you, or senses that shift in energy, that's when the real impact begins. Because now she's not just curious, she's questioning everything. She's wondering, did I misjudge him? Did I underestimate his value? And that doubt, that uncertainty, is far more powerful than any text you could send. But here's the kicker. You can't fake this. You can't pretend to move on while secretly waiting for her reaction. This only works if you truly become a different man. If you truly elevate yourself to a point where you're too busy winning to even care about whether or not she notices. And that brings us to the real question. How do you make your silence impossible to ignore? That's what we're about to get into next. How to make your silence unforgettable. Silence alone is forgettable. But silence paired with growth, confidence, and purpose is something no woman can ignore. The biggest mistake most men make is thinking that disappearing is enough. It's not. You have to disappear with a purpose. Here's what that means. If you go silent but remain the same man you were before, nothing changes. She won't think twice about you because you haven't given her a reason to. She assumes that if she ever wants you back, she can have you. Because you're still the same, waiting in the background. Now, contrast that with a man who vanishes and levels up. A man who, instead of dwelling on the past, becomes sharper, stronger, more focused. Maybe she hears from mutual friends that you've been hitting the gym, traveling, or building a new business. Maybe she sees you out, carrying yourself differently, more confident, more composed. Or maybe she simply feels that you no longer need her validation. Women are highly intuitive when it comes to energy. They can sense when a man is desperate and when a man is thriving. When you go silent in a way that suggests, I'm too busy building my life to care about what you're doing, that's when she starts noticing. Not because you forced her to, but because she can't help it. Think about it like this. If a man disappears but does nothing, he's just gone. But if he disappears and transforms, he becomes a mystery. And mystery is attractive. It creates curiosity, and curiosity leads to doubt. She starts questioning, did I make a mistake? That's when the silence shifts from being something she ignores to something she can't stop thinking about. But here's the important part. You're not doing this for her. You're doing this for yourself. If she comes back, great. If she doesn't, even better. Because by that point, you've built a life so fulfilling that whether she's there or not, doesn't matter anymore. And that's exactly why chasing her is the worst thing you can do. Because the moment you chase, you eliminate the mystery. And when there's no mystery, there's no attraction. Let's talk about that next. Why chasing her backfires. The moment you chase a woman who has distanced herself, you lose all leverage. Why? Because chasing communicates one thing. You need her more than she needs you. And in the world of attraction, the one who needs less always has more power. Let's break this down. When you chase, you're telling her, I don't value myself enough to wait for you to recognize my worth. You're confirming that she is the prize, and you are the one seeking validation. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who puts a woman on a pedestal. Women are drawn to certainty and confidence. They are attracted to men who move through life with purpose, not desperation. So when a man goes silent and then suddenly comes running back, it proves one thing: his silence was never real. It was just a tactic. And once she realizes that, the attraction is gone. Now let's take this further. What happens when you don't chase? When, instead of reaching out, you remain completely focused on yourself? She has to start questioning, she has to start wondering. And that uncertainty is powerful, because now, instead of her seeing you as predictable and available, she sees you as a mystery. And mystery creates desire, but the moment you chase, you eliminate that mystery. There's no more tension, no more curiosity, because you've made yourself available on her terms. And once a woman knows she has full control over your emotions, she stops respecting you. She may keep you around, she may enjoy the attention, but she will never truly value you. That's why chasing isn't just ineffective, it's self-destructive. It lowers your value in her eyes and reinforces the idea that she can have you whenever she wants. And once a woman believes that, she stops craving you. So what's the alternative? Instead of chasing, you let her come to you. You focus on yourself, your growth, your goals. You become so fulfilled that whether she comes back or not, you remain unaffected. And that kind of mindset is what truly shifts the dynamic. Because here's the truth. Absence creates attraction, but only when your presence had value in the first place. And that's what we're going to talk about next. The psychological impact of absence. Absence is powerful, but only when your presence had value in the first place. If you were just another guy in her life, disappearing won't change anything. But if you were someone who brought energy, confidence, and depth into her world, then your absence creates a void. And that void is what forces her to reflect. Here's how it works. When someone is used to your presence, your texts, your calls, your energy, they develop a sense of comfort and routine. It's human nature. We take things for granted when they're always there. But the moment that routine is disrupted, the brain starts working overtime. It starts filling in the blanks. At first, she may feel relieved, finally, some space. But as the days turn into weeks, that initial relief fades into curiosity. She starts to wonder, why hasn't he reached out? Did I misjudge him? Has he moved on? And that's when the shift begins. Now, here's where most men sabotage themselves. They assume if she hasn't reached out yet, she never will. So they break no contact. They check in, they send a casual text, and in doing so, they ruin the psychological process that was working in their favor. Because instead of allowing her to feel the full weight of their absence, they remind her that they're still available. And the moment she knows you're still there, the mystery is gone. The most powerful men understand this. Absence creates impact when it forces someone to confront emotions they've been avoiding. When a woman suddenly realizes that the comfort she had with you is no longer guaranteed, she is forced to reassess your value. But again, this only works if your presence was truly felt before. If you were just another guy constantly seeking validation, then your absence doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like a relief. And that's why self-improvement is non-negotiable. Because when you disappear as the same man she knew, nothing changes. But when you disappear and return as someone completely leveled up, stronger, more confident, more driven, that's when absence becomes undeniable. And that leads us to the next crucial point, how to handle it when she finally reaches out. At some point, if your absence was truly felt, she may reach out. But this is where most men mess everything up. They respond too quickly, too eagerly, undoing all the progress they made during no contact. If you react emotionally, you prove to her that your silence was never real, it was just a tactic. And once she sees that, the power dynamic shifts back in her favor. So what should you do? First, pause. Don't respond immediately. Give yourself time to assess the situation. Ask yourself, why is she reaching out? Is it out of genuine interest? Or is she just checking to see if I'm still available? Many times a woman will reach out not because she truly wants you back, but because she wants reassurance that she still has you as an option. If she sends a casual hey or asks something trivial, don't overanalyze it. It's not a deep emotional confession, it's just a test. She's trying to see if you're still emotionally hooked. If you respond right away with excitement, she gets her answer. Yes, he's still waiting for me. And the moment she confirms that, her curiosity disappears. She got what she wanted. The key is to respond from a position of strength, not attachment. If you choose to reply, do it on your terms, not out of desperation. Keep it light, confident, and nonchalant. For example, if she asks, "Hey, how have you been?" Don't say, "I've been waiting for you." Instead, say something simple but engaging, like, "Been busy, life's good, what's up?" The goal is to show that your life didn't pause for her, that she isn't the center of your world. And that's attractive, because now, instead of her feeling like she still has control over you, she starts questioning, why does he seem so happy without me? Did I underestimate him? But here's the thing, you don't have to respond at all. If you truly feel that she's only reaching out for validation, you can simply ignore it. And that silence speaks louder than any message you could send. The real power move isn't in how you reply, it's in whether you even care to reply. And that brings us to the most important factor of all, confidence. Confidence is the foundation of attraction. It's what makes people take notice, what creates a lasting impression, and what separates high-value men from those who constantly seek validation. But here's the mistake most men make. They think confidence is something you show, when in reality, it's something you live. Let's be clear. Confidence isn't about pretending to be indifferent or acting like you don't care. It's about genuinely knowing your worth, with or without her. If your confidence is real, it's not affected by whether she texts you back, whether she comes back, or whether she walks away. You remain the same man. And that stability is rare. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't crumble under emotional pressure. They respect men who hold their ground, who don't react impulsively, who aren't desperate for approval. If your silence is coming from a place of insecurity, if deep down you're still hoping for her validation, she will sense it. And the moment she senses weakness, her respect for you fades. True confidence is built on self-sufficiency. It means you're not waiting for her. You're not hoping she notices you. You're too focused on becoming the best version of yourself. You have your own goals, your own passions, your own mission. And that mission is bigger than any single relationship. But here's where most men fail. They think confidence is just about external success, that if they get in shape, make money, or improve their looks, they'll automatically be confident. While those things help, real confidence comes from the inside. It comes from knowing you're enough, regardless of external validation. And that's why confidence is the ultimate game changer, because when you exude genuine self-assurance, people, especially women, can feel it. They see it in how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself. And when they realize that you don't need their approval, that you're perfectly fine with or without them, that's when they start craving your attention. So the real question isn't, how do I get her to notice me? It's how do I build a life so fulfilling that whether she notices or not doesn't even matter. And that leads us to the final and most important lesson. Why staying true to yourself is the only real way to win. At the end of the day, no contact, silence, attraction, none of it matters if you lose yourself in the process. The biggest mistake men make is thinking that all of this is about getting her back. It's not. It's about getting yourself back. A high-value man doesn't operate from a place of fear. He doesn't manipulate, chase, or beg for attention. He knows that the right people will naturally gravitate toward him because of who he is, not because of any tricks or tactics. And that's the ultimate mindset shift. You're not trying to play games. You're simply refusing to participate in games that don't serve you. When you stay true to yourself, everything else falls into place. Women respect a man who sets boundaries, who stands firm in his values, who doesn't compromise his self-worth just to win someone back. And here's the irony. When you stop caring about whether she comes back, that's when you become the most attractive version of yourself. Not because you're faking it, but because you've genuinely built a life that is fulfilling with or without her. The truth is, most men fail at no contact because they're still measuring their success by her reaction. They still secretly hope she'll notice. But the moment you stop waiting, the moment you start focusing on your own journey, that's when you truly win. Not because she misses you, but because you don't need her to. And that's the final lesson. The goal is not to make her regret losing you. The goal is to become so focused, so fulfilled, so driven, that whether she regrets it or not is completely irrelevant, because by that point, you've already moved forward. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Are you focusing on yourself right now, or are you still waiting for her to notice your absence? Drop a yes if you're making moves, or a no if you're still struggling with this process. And if you want more strategies on mastering your mindset, self-discipline in relationships, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Stay focused, stay strong, and remember, your value is not defined by anyone else's recognition. It's defined by the life you build. I'll see you in the next one.